Hi there, Jared from Wreckfish West, and it's really important that we stay safe while fishing for abalone this summer. Now, the top safety tips are you want to make sure that you're checking the forecast before you go in the water. You want to be fishing with mates, looking out for each other on the reef, whether you're wading or diving. You want to make sure you use the best and safest gear, which I'll go through in a moment. And if you're not a confident swimmer, just don't go in the water because no abalone is worth your life, okay? Now, it's very exciting that we can go fishing for abalone this summer right up to the Greenough River mouth near Geraldton, but that stretch of coastline is not going to be monitored by Surf Life Saving WA volunteers. So it's paramount that you put safety first if you're going up in that stretch, all right? Now, the best gear to use. You want to make sure that you're using a wetsuit, all right? Long sleeved is best, keeps you warm, it's nice and buoyant, protects you from the reef. Wearing a hoodie, track pants or a rashie, they get really heavy when they're wet and they're really difficult to swim in. Do not use that. Make sure you're wearing a wetsuit. You also want to be wearing gloves, all right? Now, Kevlar gloves are best. They're more durable and they last a while. This will protect you from sea urchins, the reef, sharp edges, that sort of stuff, all right? Make sure you always wear gloves. If you're pulling abalone off the reef, an abalone knife is the way to go. This is better than a screwdriver or a butter knife. It's got a serrated edge in case you need to cut a rope in case of emergency. You also want the abalone gauge. Make sure you're measuring an abalone to check that it's 60 millimeters minimum in size before you pull it off the reef. And most people, when they go for abalone, they tend to wade the reef, all right? You want reef shoes. This is the way to go. This gives you a bit more stability when you're walking around. A dive mask. You want to make sure that this is comfortable before you go in the water. You can use this when you're wading or diving. Now, if you want it to not fog up, you can use seagull drops. You can just drop a couple of drops in, and generally that keeps it pretty clean, or we can just spit in it and use a bit of salt water. That works pretty well also. Make sure they're comfortable before you go in the water. If you are going to dive for abalone though, you want pretty short fins. Any longer than that, they'll just get stuck on the reef, and you're not really diving like great depths anyway when you're going for abalone. Just go shorter fins. They're more maneuverable underwater. Make sure that they're not too tight because you'll cramp up. If they're too loose, they're going to fall off. So just make sure that they're a good fit. But more importantly, make sure you have a great time when you're fishing for abalone this summer, but safety always comes first. So look out for yourself and look out for your mates.